Welcome to Clash of Health. Thanks for being here today. I'd like to try something a little different today than what I've been doing. I would like to start a free flow Friday event that I would like to hold every Friday. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it for, but I do know that I've been directed by my guides to go back to the original intention of Collage of Health, and that was to create community. And I'd love for these Friday events to start with kind of a discussion or a talk. And it can be a community of introspection where these talks just allow each of us, including myself, to go inward and to reflect on maybe what's been said or what comes up for us during these free flow Fridays. And I went to a metaphysical shop here in the Asheville area called Crystal Vision. It's where I had my flat tire last week. And I actually went back there to yesterday because they're closing and they had this big sale going on. And I got some gifts for friends and family when I was there. And I also couldn't pass up getting a oracle deck for myself. And it's by a woman named Any Miranda. And the deck is called What We've Forgotten. And I would have to say it's my favorite all-time oracle deck that I've ever gotten. And I thought it would be kind of cool for this free flow Friday to pick a card. So the card that I got was Adventure. And it is about following the breadcrumbs to who we are and why we're here. And I think that that is a big component of what is next. In order to grapple with the insanity of the third dimension, we need to grapple with our own inner being, because at the end of the day, everything is a prism or prison, prison of who we are and what we have experienced and what we choose to experience for the future. So what karma is this samskaric patterning of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, which is insanity, the definition of insanity. And we're at this pivot point where we can go into history as humans and continue the same paradigm that we've chosen in the past, or we can choose something different. And very often, I know I've looked outside of myself to what are these players doing? Like, what choices are they making? This is crazy from a collective perspective. But it came to me, and it frequently comes to me, that the only thing I can change is my own inner world. I can't change the outer world beyond this prism. And we are on a cusp, I think, of great hardship and great alchemy. And the hardship is going to be letting go of the need to pattern in the ways we patterned before. Now, the hardship might come as a soft mother, or it could be a stern father. It could be a kind of a cataclysmic yang event, or it could be a sweet yin letting go of that which no longer serves us. And we get to decide. I mean, we each get to decide, what do I want? You know, who am I, first of all? What inner patterning needs to change in my ancestry, in my own inner being? Or I think there are some people here who are just light beings who are here to help the collective, where they are just prancing through the paradigm, the third dimension, to experience humanness, but also to transcend it. And I think that those beings are few and far between. I'm hoping there's some of those beings listening to this right now. That would be pretty cool because they're my teachers for sure. I think my granddaughter is one of those beings and some of my other family members. So that is basically the talk that I wanted to do today. I also want to share what I got in the Akashic Records today that mimics this. So I have a process I use, a ritualistic process before I go into the records, which I've tried to um, standardize a little bit over the last month, where it's a set amount of time doing pranayama, yoga, meditation, before I start the prayers and go in with the invocation into the Akash. And today, when I was in meditation, it was a really cool experience. I picked a card, not from this deck, but from a different deck. And the card said that you just need to let go of a need to be anywhere but here. And in the past, when I would have gotten that card, I would have been annoyed because I'd be like, well, I really want to just know what's coming up, or, I want to deal with what has happened. And today it was just kind of interesting because I was like, yes, yeah, I just want to be here now, enjoy this morning with my coffee and this process and my dog and, this kind of warm winter day. It was just kind of juicy. And I was like, yeah, I want to be in the now. This now is pretty beautiful. And it's taken a few years to get to that, where I haven't needed to go anywhere but in the moment. And I still have that need that to remember that. And this card really kind of reinforced that need to be like, come back, come back. It's all here. It's all now. It's all the accordion. All of what's happened and will happen can coalesce into that now moment. So in the meditation, I was present. I was really, really present. I wasn't thinking. I didn't have to like pull the string back. For the most part, I was there in this deep meditation, and it was just absolutely beautiful. So when I went into the records, I didn't really journey into space in the way that I've been doing. It was much more about what this card is saying, the breadcrumbs to discover why I'm here and who I am. So I'm just going to read to you what came through. One of the first things that came through was the Mandela effect and an answer about it. And it said, it's all about energy. Where do you put your energy? So the Mandela effect occurs because the energetic focus is in such a way that creates a reality, be it a parallel reality, its own reality, a false reality, but it's a reality that people experience. And that energy locks people into that reality. So that was the message I got. I think that was before, it actually was before I went into the Akashic Records. So I got time of celebration, exuberance, oneness with all things. I saw a frog and purification. And then I saw that the phrase Polywana cracker. Who do I need to appease to feel safe? The cabal can be a lot of different things. It could be people who maybe don't get me, don't understand who I am, don't get this spiritual paradigm I live in. And where Polywana a cracker is like, how can I appease those who I feel are holding something over me? So I'm speaking in terms of me today because it's super easy to speak in terms of you or you, but I think in speaking in terms of me, it leads me to a place of this. So there you go. A bell is ringing, and then it's like a dinner bell, a time to witness the underbelly of society that we've allowed to run away. Okay, the underbelly of society that we've allowed by running away from the darkness that resists and exists within us. So the more we try to not recognize our own darkness from a neutral point of view, the more we project it outwards, which makes it a real thing outside of ourselves. And there's a book called People of the Lies by Scott Peck, and he was one of the first spiritual leaders in the 80s. And he was a psychiatrist and a spiritualist. And he talked about how evil is the projection of our own wrongness on someone else, and how in recognizing the shadow that rests within us, we can transmute transmute it into nothingness, no thing, if we're willing to do that work. So if enough of us do shadow work, there will be no darkness that exists outside of us. That was a very big thing that came through today. And I was told to recognize and witness within self and say, I see you. I hear you. You are acknowledged for what you are. So just to acknowledge dark thoughts, to acknowledge dark moments, to acknowledge laziness or greed or whatever, and not to give it a charge is what is going to really work to transcend it. Christmas should be about love. And then I was journeying to a Christmas past, and it was a Christmas where it was several years ago, and I was still married, and we were headed to Florida to see our daughter and her husband and daughter, my granddaughter and my son-in-law. And our plane was delayed, and it was delayed all day long. We were in the airport all day long. And the airline tried to make it pleasant. It was Christmas Eve. I think they offered us a free meal. And that morning, I was in that special place of living and being in the now. And I had the most grateful feeling that morning of joy and of family. And it stayed with me all day long. Unfortunately, it did not stay with my husband at the time. He was really upset, and he wanted to get to her house because he cooks for Christmas Eve. And this is not a criticism of him, because he was a manifestation in that moment of so many times that I've been him. So it was just such a contrast of where I felt I was, and he was holding this other space in a way for me to be able to be in, because everything is plays off a dynamic in this parallel, or in this plane of existence, in this dualistic plane of existence. So he was holding the being in the future as I was holding being in the now. And we finally took off, and we got in to an airport near where she lives. And it was like a half-hour drive, and he was going like 80 miles an hour, or maybe 90 miles an hour, because he wanted to get to her place so he could cook Christmas Eve dinner. And then we hear the siren. The siren pulls us over, and he's going over 80 miles an hour. And the policeman was really nice. Like, he only gave us a ticket for someone going like 79 miles an hour, because if you go over 80, it's a bigger deal. And my ex-husband was in this place of wow, like, wow, this, I don't need to rush. I can be in this now moment. I don't have to be anywhere but here. So it was almost like the policeman was his reminder and he was my reminder to stay in that place. So that scene came up for me today of just being grateful. Like Christmas it isn't today, but it is like today. It can be today. It can be that Christmas of the heart, Christmas of the now. It can be that Christmas every single day of gratitude for spirit, for that which imbues us with the spark of light and love. And Jesus said to me, there's nowhere to be now here ever. It just, just being in the moment where we can just accept what's flowing through us and neutralize it. And we don't have to spin it out. And in doing so, we can hold all of it so that the world can be a better place. So I think I'll stop there. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but it's okay. That's what maybe you need to hold in your now moment. Have a good day.